What's up, folks? On my Instagram, every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I do these things where I just answer questions the whole weekend. Whatever my followers want to ask me, they can ask me. And as you can imagine, I've gotten some pretty crazy ass questions that I can't really talk about or post on here, but it ranges from innocent questions to X rated questions. So, of course, on YouTube, we'll be talking about the innocent questions. And I take the best questions from the weekend and I'm going to start answering them on YouTube more in depth because on Instagram, you only got a minute to talk about these questions. So, on here, I can take my time. So, one of the questions was, how do I feel about influencers posting their kids on the content creations that they do or having their kids on social media? Me, I have my two sons. They each have their own Instagram account. Now, I know some of you feel a way about that. Oh, they're kids. Oh, you're crazy having kids have their own Instagram accounts and blah, blah, blah. I do it. I use Instagram for them as a photo album. Their accounts literally start from birth. The pictures, the first picture on the Instagram account is when they were born at the hospital. A picture of them still on the table with the embryonic fluid and everything on them. And it just goes on till how they are right now, 11 years old, and my other one will be 7 in November. So I use it as a photo album. When they are of age, I'll give them the password and say, hey, you can continue it on. Or maybe I'll keep the accounts and just keep posting because that is their personal photo album for me. So maybe I'll give it to them, maybe I won't. But anyways, and also they're private and they each have 9 followers and it's all family. So it's no big deal. I mean, that's fine and it's safe. Now let's talk about some of you who use your kids in your content creation. Nothing wrong with it. But as most of you have hundreds of thousands or even millions of followers, you got to be careful. Because how many of those followers are pedophiles? How many of them are child molesters? How many of them are sexual predators? How many of them just are dangerous people? And you're showing them your kids. And that's an unsettling feeling. Even one out of your millions or hundreds of thousands of followers, even one is just one too many to have following your account. So you gotta be careful. Take that kid Ryan, who made $26 million in a year. Multi-millionaire. All he did was play with toys and review them. You gotta be careful with that. You know, when he goes out in public, I'm pretty sure he gets mobbed by kids and adults. Now, the kids, I understand. The adults, no. There's this one little girl who's really famous. She's like a debutante type deal. And her mother had a meet and greet. And when I saw the pictures from it, it was grown ass men picking this girl up, holding her and hugging her. You swear these men were like her father or her uncles. That's just how close they were and how hugged up they were. And no. A meet and greet with kids, great. Adults, I'm side-eyeing you. Why are you over here? Why are you this excited to meet this little girl? You're not at the adult expo that's in Vegas. Anyways, I don't see anything wrong with it, but you have to be careful and you have to also be prepared for what comes along with that type of fame for children. We've seen what happens to children stars, children celebs. Sometimes they don't grow up right. So you as a parent have to still keep them on the straight and narrow. You know, everybody else is worshiping your kid. To you, that's still your kid that you are responsible for raising to be a responsible and good adult. And sometimes fame and money can get in the way of that or distort what that is. So just be mindful of that. Keep an eye on your kids. Help them make that money. Help them pay for their own college, pay for their own first car. Yeah, whatever it is that they may want, they will be paying for it. Invest that money, for them. Invest the money for them. There's a reason why it's law that children have to have what's called a Coogan account. Coogan is actually the last name. It was a case where the parents were spending this kid's money. Their last name was Coogan. And that's where Coogan account came from, because the judge made it unlawful for parents to spend up the money that their kids are making. So be careful, be mindful, and remember, you're still a parent to a celeb maybe, but you're still a parent, and it's your job to keep them grounded and to keep them sane and safe. And that's how I feel about influencers or children becoming celebs, or influencers using their kids in their videos and things like that. You got to be careful, and definitely keep your eyes open for your kids' safety. The second question that was really, really good was someone asked me, how do I push myself past my mental limitations and keep going? This was a man who asked this. And I told him, I said, as a man, you have no choice. That is what we're supposed to do as men. Push yourself into the fucking grave if you have to, as a man. Happiness and comfort, those are luxuries that most men don't get to experience. Even the rich and the wealthy are stressing out about something as a man. They're stressing about how to stay rich, how to stay wealthy. Maybe they're sick or they're ill. Don't think the rich and the famous are okay, just carefree. They're carefree financially, but maybe they're not healthy on the inside. Maybe they have something else that's bothering them. What I do to push myself through my mental limitations is when it gets to be too much, when I'm feeling overwhelmed, when I'm feeling just stressed and burnt out, I go numb. I literally go numb. I just lay there and just say, you know what, universe, just fuck me over. Just go and have your way with me and get it over with. That's what I literally do. Because if I stressed out about the mental limitations that I have, I would literally have had a stroke or a heart attack by now. I guaranteed. It's not a maybe. With everything that I have been through, with everything that I'm currently going through, if I didn't learn to just brush it off and just say, fuck it, or just let my mind go numb to the stress, I'd be dead. And take the gym, for instance. I work out 6 to 7 days a week. I am mentally and physically drained. But do I stop? No, I don't. Because I don't want health complications in the future. I have a fear of being overweight. I have a fear of being unfit, out of shape. I have a fear of that. I have 2 boys. I have to be, not only tell them and raise them to be strong men mentally, physically, financially, spiritually. I have to be the example of that too. My sons are going to deal with their mental limitations. And I have to teach them to keep going. I know you're tired, but you got to keep going. I can't stop. I have a family that are depending on me. I don't get to quit. I don't get to just say, fuck it, I'm done. I don't get to do that. I'm not going to let my kids do it either. Because one day when they start their family, they're going to look back on how I handled things. And I admit I need to improve. I need to improve a lot on how I handle things, but I always show up. Nobody can take that away from me. My kids need me for any fucking thing. I'm there. That I need, and I'm already running out the door before I even heard what they said. I turned back around. You needed what? Okay. That's how I am. That's who I am. And I'm teaching them and being the example for them so that they will be like that. There is no room in this world, in this country especially, for a weak man. Mentally, physically, financially, spiritually, emotionally. A man got to be strong in all those areas. Not some, all. And so that's what I strive to be every day. Mental limitations, I just push past them. I go on autopilot, which is basically another way of saying I let my brain go numb. on autopilot, and I just keep going. Whatever it is I have to do, I have to go to the gym, I go. I got to take my son to karate practice. Oh, I'm so tired, but I get my ass up and go. You know, whatever is needed. Just my motivation pretty much is my family. But even if I didn't have family, I'd have to keep surviving for myself. And that is how I push past the mental limitations. I really hope that helped. I know it was a lot, but I hope that I made sense and that helped.